Hello, it's Jennifer. It's Saturday, May 27th. Today I'm out in my yard harvesting things to pickle. So I've got some peppers here. These are Cuban L's. And the bottom here are some pepperoncinis. And now I'm getting ready to harvest some shishito peppers. And these very much look to me like maybe I can treat them like pepperoncinis. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. So it looks like I've got a pretty decent pepper haul to experiment with. These are a combination of pepperoncini, shishito, and Cubanelle peppers. Hello, it's Jennifer. It's Sunday, May 28th, and I'm out doing my morning inspection of my garden. And this morning I raised the shade cloth above my peppers and tomato and ground cherry bed to accommodate the growth of the plants. So basically these plants that I planted, probably less than a month ago, have just taken off, and they're very large and robust. As you can see, the thickness of the stems on the ground cherries, they're very thick and robust. And then these padron and these dragon roll and gypsy peppers have grown tremendously during May. So I'm very pleased. This fish pepper also is doing pretty well. Fish peppers tend to grow slower than other peppers, so I'm having patience with it. And my Cubanelle pepper, which is the one back there, looks like the bees have crossed it with something, is growing quite well. We just started collecting some of the peppers from it yesterday, and we pickled them. And my overwintered Thai pepper plant is fully back to life and is flowering, and everything's looking great. So I'd like to show my other ground cherry in comparison to these large ones, which were planted at the same time. So this is my other ground cherry plant, and there's two of them in here, and they were transplanted on April 9th. So I guess it's actually been almost 2 months, but the difference in growth is pretty stark. These are short and squat. They're already producing ground cherries, but they're nowhere near as robust as the ones under the partial shade. So these get morning sun, and I think they also get some afternoon sun until about 4, but they're nowhere near as big as the other ones. So again, I recommend the shade cloth. Maybe I should move these since they're in pots to under the shade cloth as well. So I don't think I've talked about my soybeans yet. This one here is called the Midori Giant, and I did not expect it to be this huge. So I tried growing soybeans last year, and my plants topped out at about 6 to 9 inches. And I thought that they hadn't produced anything until I root them out the ground and noticed that they were full of soybeans on the bottom. But anyhow, this one so far hasn't been producing very much. And these soybeans are amazingly fuzzy. They're kind of cute. I'm not sure when they're ripe, but I'm going to assume that when they're this fuzzy, they're not ripe yet. So I have a few of these plants. They're suffering. I think for a while I was overwatering this entire bed, so I've cut back on the water. The other thing is that it just may be too hot and bright for the soybeans. So these are the new leaves since I cut back on the water, and they're looking pretty good. So maybe that was the issue, I'm not sure. Anyhow, and then back here are the smaller plants, the Disoy soybean. These guys seem to like to actually vine and climb up other plants, so I didn't notice this until I saw some soybeans in the other bed doing it, and I may have to put a pole in here for this one so it can climb. Anyhow, here's another one, and it's looking much healthier now that I've cut back on the water. And then in the places where I removed some of the diseased pepper plants, I planted more of the soybeans, so they just sprouted. And what I found, what works best for soybeans, is to take the seeds and soak them overnight, such that they start germinating, and the little first root breaks the seed coat, and then you go ahead and push them into the ground about an inch, and a week later little sprouts start coming up most of the time. There's supposed to be some here, but I don't see anything. I see something else sprouting though. I wonder what that could be. And this is my absurd little corn patch. It's growing in a 3-foot diameter grow bag. There's several stalks in here. I'm kind of surprised that this actually appears to be working, but we'll see if I actually get any corn out of this. So far, this corn is supposed to top out at 6 to 7 feet. So I'm a little over 5 feet. So this corn's probably, let's see, this is a foot off the ground. So this corn's probably 4 feet tall, going on 5. So I've been watering it regularly, probably every day to every other day. Every week I give it fish emulsion. So that's a source of nitrogen, because apparently corn needs a lot of nitrogen to grow. This corn here, this stalk here, looks like it's going to start tasseling soon. So far I haven't noticed any major pest problems with this corn. It seems to be growing pretty well. Some of the corn is really small, like this one here, but this one got planted late because it was a leftover corn that wouldn't fit in here before, but then one of the other corn plants died, so I transplanted it here, so it's somewhat behind. I doubt that it will count towards any sort of corn production, because by the time it gets tall enough and starts tasseling, this other corn will probably be done. But that's the corn. It looks like, yeah, you can grow some corn in a very tight space, but again, it remains to be seen whether this is going to work, because I haven't had any ears of corn yet, but I'm very encouraged by this growth. The eggplants that I overwintered are now in full production. They've got flowers all over them. We started harvesting them earlier this week, and that seems to have triggered a big bloom on them. We have lots of eggplants now, a lot of them now towards the top, so these so far have been untouched by the critters. The lower ones have not been so lucky, but that's okay. The animals can have the ones on the lower as long as I can have the ones on top. So the bees have been doing some mischievous things, so I've got some hybrids here, and this one is, true to type. So that's been pretty interesting. So far, the ones that have been hybrided, like this one, have tasted like the parent plant and not like the other variety. These are very nice because when you cut them open, they actually smell like fragrant bananas, and the flesh is actually sweet when eaten raw. So this is the Purple Rain variety. So I have 3 of these. Those are the big plants. This is my, what is this called? Something Bianca. I've forgotten. But anyhow, these are coming along. They're slowly growing because they don't get enough sun because of these big guys blocking them. Oh, Rosa Bianca, that's what they're called. And then this is the other purple rain, and it's gotten mixed with something else, but it's got fruits on it. The black beauties only get a limited amount of morning sun, so they're kind of small, but they're also starting to flower. Some more of the purple rain down here too. Little guy there. I imagine that these guys will probably be raccoon treats, so we'll see. And on the other side, these are my meatballs. So they aren't growing as big as they're supposed to be. They're kind of dwarfed, but I did harvest 2 of them last week. And I don't know about them being a meat substitute, but in terms of eggplants, they tasted pretty good. They had, they were very creamy in my opinion, not meat-like. Back here, you can see some more purple rain. These are I believe these are the Louisana long. These plants are very small. I don't have much of an expectation from them. Other than miniature fruits. I don't think that I think that these are competing too much with the bigger eggplants and the carrots for nutrients and sunlight. So I'll have to try replanting these again in another area. And over here are some more Louisana long. So these get more sunlight and more nutrients, and so this one is a lot bigger. Behind there is a Mitoyo, and it is a pretty good size, but the other ones in a different bed are bigger. So I look forward to trying all the different types of eggplants in my yard. So my other eggplants are over here in the wine barrels, and I think this is a Casper, and this one as well. And they're getting nice and big. They're starting to flower. So I think that these will probably produce some nice treated type fruits. And here with it are some Spanish sweet peppers. They're growing nicely. Over here is the other Mitoyo. And as you can see, it's much bigger. It's sharing a space with, I think, bell peppers and poblano. So this is my first successful poblano. It has 3 big fruits on it. So we're waiting to eat down some of our other peppers before I pick these, and we'll probably go ahead and make chili rellenos out of them. I'm pretty excited by that. And then back here is Isabella cantaloupe. And this one, I don't think it has any fruits on it yet, but it does have flowers. These are my tomatillo plants. So I planted them in a different location than last year. And they seem to be producing a lot more fruit than the ones that I had last year. These are like basically all fruit. No plant. It's kind of crazy. Anyhow. Oh look, somebody broke in there. Anyhow. So tomatillos are kind of stupid. They always grow in a way that tries to put them on the ground or stress them out. So I'm not sure what to do with this guy. He's leaning over, not even trying for balance. This one seems to be doing a much better job of balance, but again, it's sending out an arm here that, you know, I guess I'll have to stake this up later on today. But anyhow, I have 2 tomatillo plants, so I can actually get some fruits. Yeah, so hopefully these work out. Hopefully they taste good. I'll be eating a lot of salsa and Southwest chicken soup with all these tomatillos. But hey, I'm looking forward to it. I believe I've solved the mystery of this tomato plant. I think that this is actually a Gladiator tomato, and this is the one vine in my yard that's actually a healthy Gladiator tomato. I can't wait to taste them. I'm so happy because these look like they're going to be amazing sauce tomatoes. So that's that. It looks like they're starting to blush. So, tomato soon. Lastly are my okra plants. I tried to grow okra last year, but I had a lot of trouble because of the heat, and excessive heat I should say, and UV, and also the ants overwhelmed me with aphids, and so I was unable to kill all the ants, and subsequently unable to kill all the aphids, and the aphids just bled the plants dry. So this year I planted them in the wine barrel planters, and I have this makeshift shade over them, and it looks like there are some okras on here that are developing, and the plant is growing new leaves, but it's not as big as a plant as I'd hoped. But judging by the way the leaves feel, this is a much healthier plant than I've ever been able to grow. So, I think the next time I'll talk about some of my spices, since I haven't talked about them in a long time. And then I guess it's time for June tomato update. Hello, today is May 30th. It's a Tuesday. And today I'm going to go ahead and harvest my red Kuri Squash and remove the plant now that's dying. So basically, you allow the squash to ripen, and then you allow the squash to stay in the plant for as long as possible while the plant dies around it. So I was supposed to get 3 to 5 squashes, but I only got 1, and I'm happy with this, and I understand probably because the bees actually haven't started showing up in my yard until about last week. So this plant was thoroughly done with producing flowers by the time the bees came around. And the same for my second plant, which only has 1 fruit as well, and should be dying off in the next couple weeks. So I'll have 2 fruits total. I'll go ahead and store these fruits, since apparently they can be stored for months, and maybe a couple's enough to make some pie or soup or something. I don't know, but we'll see. So here's how the squash looks now that I've taken it off the vine. It's a nice good size. The color is remarkable. It's very neon orange. So I'll go ahead and store this in my pantry. And I think I'm supposed to wait till the stem here completely dries out for the flavor to deepen. So I'll go ahead and do that.